You've said yes when you meant no. You've apologized for things you didn't do. You've doubted your own memory, your own feelings, your own sanity, and you never understood why. The truth is, someone taught you to do this. Not through logic or reason, but through carefully chosen words. Words are the most powerful weapons of psychological warfare. Manipulators don't need to raise their voice. They don't need to threaten. They just need to know which phrases unlock your compliance, your guilt, your fear. Control through words. Today, we're exposing 10 linguistic weapons that manipulators use every single day in relationships, at work, in families. By the end of this video, you'll recognize these phrases instantly. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to respond. Because once you see the strings, they can never control you again. Love bombing. It starts with words that feel like heaven. You're the only one who truly understands me. I've never felt this way about anyone. We're soulmates, I knew it the moment I saw you. These phrases flood your brain with dopamine. You feel special, chosen, finally seen. The narcissist's first gift to you is the mirage of your own perfection. But here's what psychology reveals. This isn't love. It's strategy. Love bombing is the deliberate use of excessive affection, attention, and praise to overwhelm your critical thinking. The manipulator knows that once you're emotionally invested, once you believe you've found something rare and precious, you'll tolerate almost anything to keep it. Too much too fast. Real love grows gradually. It respects boundaries. It doesn't need to consume you entirely in the first week. When someone's words seem too perfect, too soon, ask yourself, what are they trying to make me feel? And more importantly, why so quickly? Because the setup always comes before the trap. Gaslighting phrases. That never happened. You're imagining things. I never said that. You must be remembering wrong. These 6 words can make you question your entire reality. Gaslighting is perhaps the most insidious form of psychological manipulation because it attacks your relationship with truth itself. Your memory becomes unreliable. Your perception becomes suspicious. Your reality becomes whatever they say it is. The term comes from a 1944 film where a husband deliberately dims the gaslights while denying his wife sees any change, slowly driving her to believe she's losing her mind. But you don't need dimming lights. You just need someone who consistently denies your experience. You're being too sensitive. You always overreact. Why do you have to make everything such a big deal? These phrases don't address what happened. They address what's wrong with you for noticing. The goal isn't to win an argument. The goal is to make you stop trusting yourself. And once you stop trusting yourself, who do you have to trust? Exactly. Them. But here's the thing about gaslighting. The very fact that you're questioning your sanity is often proof that your perception is correct. False equivalence. Well, you're not perfect either. We both made mistakes. It takes 2 to have a fight. These phrases sound reasonable, fair, balanced, and that's exactly what makes them so dangerous. False equivalence is the manipulator's favorite escape route. When confronted with their behavior, they immediately drag you down to their level. You raise a legitimate concern, and suddenly you're both equally guilty. Both sides same, but here's the truth. Not all wrongs are equal. Forgetting to call someone back is not the same as lying for months. Raising your voice once is not the same as systematic emotional abuse. Being imperfect is not the same as being manipulative. If you find yourself reflecting on how this made you feel, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring these psychological patterns with me, because understanding this changes everything. The false equivalence fallacy is the refuge of the guilty conscience. When someone responds to accountability with "but you did this," they're not seeking resolution. They're seeking escape. Real accountability sounds different. It sounds like, "You're right, I did that. I understand why it hurt you. Here's what I'll do differently." Everything else is deflection dressed up as fairness. Future faking. Things will be different. I'm going to change, I promise. Once we get through this rough patch, everything will be perfect. Next year, we'll finally take that trip. Future faking is the art of selling you a tomorrow that will never come. The manipulator offers you beautiful visions of a shared future, marriage, stability. the relationship you've always wanted. These promises cost them nothing but buy your patience indefinitely. Every time you think about leaving, they dangle a new promise. Every time you confront their behavior, they point to the better days ahead, someday. But notice something crucial. The problems are always now, and the solutions are always later. The pain is present tense, but the healing is perpetually future tense. The future is free. Anyone can promise it because no one can hold them accountable for it. Research shows that intermittent reinforcement, occasional rewards among consistent disappointment, creates the strongest psychological bonds. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You keep pulling the lever because maybe this time. But manipulators know, keeping you hopeful keeps you stuck. Guilt induction. After everything I've done for you, I sacrificed so much, and this is how you repay me. If you really loved me, you wouldn't even have to ask. These phrases turn love into a transaction and generosity into a debt. You owe me. Guilt induction weaponizes your conscience against you. The manipulator keeps a mental ledger of everything they've ever given, every sacrifice they've made, real or imagined, and presents the bill whenever you assert yourself. I can't believe you'd go out with your friends after I stayed home alone last weekend. I gave up my career for this family, and you can't even do this one thing for me. Guilt is the most destructive of all emotions. It kills people, but used strategically, it controls them. But here's what healthy relationships look like. Genuine gifts come without strings. Real love doesn't keep score. Authentic sacrifice doesn't get weaponized in future arguments. When every kindness becomes ammunition, you're not in a relationship. You're in a hostage negotiation. The antidote is recognizing that your needs are valid simply because they're yours, not because you've earned them through sufficient suffering or sacrifice. Silent treatment. Sometimes the most powerful manipulation uses no words at all. The silent treatment, days of cold withdrawal, refused eye contact, one-word answers, is psychological punishment disguised as needing space. Silence can be louder than any scream. What makes this so effective? It triggers your attachment system at the deepest level. Human beings are wired for connection. Social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex lights up identically whether you've been excluded or actually injured. The manipulator knows this instinctively. By withdrawing, they create unbearable psychological pressure without saying a single word. You begin to chase, to apologize for things you're not sure you did, to do anything to restore connection. Your move first. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I don't want to talk about it. You know what you did. These fragments hint at crimes you must solve alone. The silent treatment turns you into both detective and defendant. Healthy partners take space and communicate. They say, I need time to process this, but I want you to know I'm committed to resolving it. Punishment masquerading as silence offers no such reassurance. Moving goalposts. If you just did X, I'd be happy. So you do X, but now the standard has shifted. Well, yes, but you didn't do it the right way. Or, that doesn't count because you only did it because I asked. Moving goalposts is how manipulators keep you perpetually striving, perpetually failing, perpetually dependent on their approval that never fully comes. You lose weight, but now you need to dress differently. You get the promotion, but now you're working too much. You apologize, but not sincerely enough. Never enough. The pattern becomes clearer. It's not about the goal, it's about the chase. The narcissist doesn't want you to succeed. They want you to keep trying. As long as you're running toward their ever-shifting target, they have power. Your effort becomes proof of their importance. Your exhaustion becomes evidence of their worth. The moment you would finally be good enough is the moment they lose control. That moment never comes by design. Healthy relationships have achievable standards. Healthy partners celebrate your growth instead of immediately raising the bar, when nothing is ever enough. The problem isn't your effort. Triangulation. My ex would never have reacted that way. Everyone at work thinks you're being unreasonable. My mother agrees with me, she says you're too controlling. Triangulation brings a third party into your conflict, real or invented, to make you feel outnumbered, insecure, or jealous. 3 against 1. The manipulator positions themselves at the center of a triangle, receiving attention and validation from multiple sources while you compete for their favor. Sarah from work really understands me. My brother thinks I should leave you. These statements aren't about Sarah or the brother. They are about destabilizing you. Suddenly, you're not just in conflict with one person. You're defending yourself against an invisible jury. Triangulation is the coward's way of having a conversation. Why face you directly when they can use proxies? Why have an honest disagreement when they can manufacture an audience that's already on their side? The antidote is refusing to compete. A relationship is between two people, not two people and a chorus of judges. When someone constantly invokes others to win arguments, they're admitting they can't win on their own merits. That tells you everything. Victim reversal. You confront them about their behavior. Within minutes, somehow, you're the one apologizing. You're always attacking me. I can't believe you'd accuse me of that. Do you know how much that hurts? Look what you made me do. Darvo. Psychologist Jennifer Freyd identified this pattern. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Darvo. The manipulator first denies the behavior, then attacks you for bringing it up, then reverses roles. Suddenly they are the victim of your accusations. You hurt me first. You calling me a liar is worse than anything I supposedly did. Your constant suspicion is destroying this relationship, not my behavior. I wouldn't have to hide things if you weren't so paranoid. Watch the sleight of hand. Your legitimate concern becomes the real offense. Their behavior disappears into the background while your cruelty in mentioning it takes center stage. The original issue evaporates, and you find yourself on trial instead. If raising a problem is worse than causing the problem, then no problem can ever be solved. This is by design. The manipulator who never has to answer for their actions has unlimited power. Breaking free. Now you see them, the words that slip past your defenses, the phrases that rewrite your reality, the linguistic patterns that turn your own mind against you. But knowledge isn't enough. You need responses. Awareness is the first weapon. Boundaries are the second. When they gaslight, I trust my memory of what happened. When they guilt trip, I can love you and still say no. When they triangulate, I'm not interested in what others think. I'm interested in resolving this with you. When they darvo, we can discuss my behavior after we address what I originally raised. Gray rock method. The gray rock technique, becoming emotionally unresponsive, boring, unrewarding, starves manipulators of the reactions they feed on. But sometimes the healthiest response is distance. Not every relationship deserves repair. Not every person deserves access to your mind. The most powerful word against manipulation is the one you've been afraid to say. No. No explanation needed. No negotiation required. Just no. You've now seen behind the curtain. Love bombing, gaslighting, false equivalence, future faking, guilt induction, silent treatment, moving goalposts, triangulation, victim reversal, and the path to freedom. These patterns exist everywhere in romantic relationships, in families, in workplaces, in friendships. And once you recognize them, you can never unsee them. Words are weapons, but here's the deeper truth. Manipulators only have power over those who don't know they are being manipulated. The fog lifts the moment you understand the game. You stop questioning your sanity. You stop apologizing for your needs. You stop chasing approval that was never meant to come. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. But you felt them today, which means you can break them. If you made it this far, comment string CUT if you're ready to stop being controlled by someone else's words. Your mind belongs to you. Protect it. Welcome to the Psyche Project. If this opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe. Understanding yourself is the work of a lifetime.